Hi everyone, welcome back to Mari Clark Creations. Today I'm participating in the Creating with Sketches scrapbooking collaboration where we use sketches from Allison Davis. I am going to be creating this layout for you today using the gorgeous Simple Stories Simple Vintage Spring Garden collection. It's so pretty. Really love the colors as they coordinated with the photo that I'm going to be using for my layout today. Now for the sketch choice, we are using the 2-page number 2 sketch, and I am going to link up in the description box below to the sketchbook of Allison's that we are choosing our sketches from. I'm using option number 24 for that sketch, and this is actually taking a double page sketch and changing it into a single page. And so option 24 just has you rotate the background, and you'll see me creating a layout that is based on that sketch. I'm starting off here with a piece of Vicki Boutin Foundations paper and some Distress Oxide ink in old paper. And I'm just taking a blending brush and I'm just blending some of that ink onto the paper. At this point, I really wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to play with a little bit of ink and some paste and a stencil. So I'm just spritzing that Distress Oxide ink with a little bit of water just to distress it a little bit. Now I'll put a little bit of that ink onto some plastic packaging over to the right. I'll just go ahead and put some water into the ink there, mix that up, and then splatter that onto the white background. So at this point, like I said, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but really in the end, what I did was I just created a bit of a mat for my photo. So I'm just going in now with some paper towel and picking up some excess moisture. This is a stencil from Prima and Finnabair called Secret Letters. It's a 6x9 stencil. It is gorgeous. I love this pattern, and it's a combination of text and florals. And I'm just using some texture paste here through the stencil, and then I'll just go ahead and let that dry. Once I lift this off, I'll take that stencil and my palette knife to the sink and get those cleaned up. And now you can just see how nice and soft that texture is behind my 4x6 photo. I really love that. And I picked out some papers that I thought I might use from the collection. I wasn't 100% sure really what I was going for here at this point, but just kind of trying to decide what I want to use. I'm going to take that paper with the texture on it, and I'm actually going to size that down. And I size it down into a panel that's about 6 inches by 9 inches. And that, like I said, is just going to provide a mat for my photo. I am using my Tonic track trimmer from Tim Holtz. Love this trimmer, and all of the supplies I'm using here today will be linked up in the description box below. So if you're looking to purchase any of these different products I'm using today, you can use those links. They are affiliate links, and you can use those links to purchase your products at no extra charge. And then I will get a very small commission if you use those links. So this is probably my favorite paper from that collection from Simple Stories. I decided to use this one, and I am sizing it down to 11 inches square. And so I'm just taking off some of that extra paper. And now what I wanted to do was take this little bit of floral, and I want to release it from the paper. So I'm just taking a craft knife and I'm going to just trim out this little bit of this floral because I didn't want to cover it up. And so I'm going to just trim it out, and in that way it's going to release it, and I'll be able to lift it up and overlay it over top of my photo mat area. So I'll just take some time to do that with my craft knife and my craft mat. And I'll also just use some cutter bee scissors just to kind of fussy cut some of that as well, and release all of these little pretty little blooms that are protruding out into that gorgeous plaid paper. Really love that gingham plaid. It's a really pretty soft green, which goes along so nicely with the colors that are in the photo that I'm scrapping today. So once I've got that all done now, you can see how releasing that just allows that to overlap over top of that photo mat area. Now, this is a piece of white 12 by 12 cardstock. It is an 80-pound paper. This is actually Scrapbook and Cards Today exclusive 12 by 12 white paper. It is fantastic. I am trimming this down to 11.5 inches square. I will actually gut that or take the center of it out. I do that off camera, but I do that so that I can use that white paper as a photo mat as well. And then I'm going to layer these all onto a green piece of cardstock. I'm not really sure what exact color or manufacturer that green paper is, but it's just some that I had in my stash. Now I'm taking my scrapbook.com repositionable adhesive tape runner, and I'm going to adhere my pattern paper onto the white mat. And then I'll take that to my sewing machine and I'll just sew a nice sewing line around the perimeter of the paper. And that's just going to add that really nice sewing detail onto this project. So once I've got that where I feel like it's more or less centered, I'll take that to my sewing machine and add that sewing texture and detail. So just giving that a good press onto that white paper. Now that sewing is done and I'm ready to move on to the next step. So I'll go ahead and take my tape runner again and adhere this onto the green cardstock mat. Again, just taking the time to go ahead and make sure that I have this centered. And just at this point, I would say I really love having a sketch to follow for creating a layout like this. It's just really nice to have that jumping off point. And I do highly recommend Allison sketches. They're really fun. And I have linked up to those sketches and the other videos in this hop in the description box below. So make sure you check out the other hoppers that are part of the hop this month. I've just taken a little bit of foam adhesive. I've adhered that to the back of the photograph. Now I'll go ahead and adhere that onto the white cardstock layer. And I'm also going to create a mat from some more of that green gingham paper. I believe this is a piece of paper from the 8x6 paper pad. And I'll go ahead and add adhesive to those layers and get those all matted. And then that is going to overlay over top of the texture from the stenciling. I want to use a bunch of these florals from the Floral Ephemera pack from the collection, but I wanted to get rid of the white border. And so I just feel like it just makes the florals look a little bit more organic and natural in that way. And so I'm just going to take the time to use my Tim Holtz scissors to go ahead and fussy cut that white border off. These are those new scissors from Tim Holtz and Tonic. They're fantastic. I will be sure to link these up. They're really great for fussy cutting. I love them. They're super sharp. They have a really nice pointy tip on them. And they're really great for getting into those really tight areas as well. And so I'll go ahead and do that same thing to all of the different florals that I plan to use. And now I'm going to just take this is actually some Tombow tape runner, and it's a permanent tape runner. This is, sorry, not Tombow, it's Thermoweb. This is the Thermoweb XL tape runner. So really love that. And it is permanent. So it works really, really well. And I'm going to just give that a really, really good press. I love the Thermoweb adhesives. They always work really well. So if you like to use tape runner, I highly recommend that one. So now I'm going to go ahead and I've got all of the florals I plan to use here with that white border trimmed off of them. I'm going to pop a bunch of them up onto some foam adhesive, and some of the foam adhesive I will double up and some I will just put a single layer on because in that way you can just vary the level of your layering, so to speak, and just layer things in that way with the different levels. So that flower at the top that you can see there has 2 layers of foam adhesive on the back. It's going to pop up a little bit higher than that yellow flower below it, and so on and so forth, just creating those really nice, pretty layers. Now, I didn't want to use a bunch of flowers on the other side of the photo. I really wanted the photo area to stay really clean because I really still want that to be the focal point of the project. So I wanted the florals just kind of like all over on the right side and just a really nice, fairly clean space for that photo to just shine over on the left. And how sweet is that photo? Can we just talk about that for a second? That is my daughter, and this was just like a week before she had her baby at the end of May. And then that's the little 2-year-old there, my little 2-year-old grandson, just giving some love to that little baby that's coming, which turned out to be a little brother for him. And so super sweet moment. Couldn't resist scrapbooking this really adorable photograph of them. And so just going to continue those florals a little bit across the bottom where I'm going to put that title, which is that thicker from the collection, which says lovely. And I'll add more detail to that title area as well. But at this point, I'm just kind of trying to decide how many florals I wanted to layer over into that section. So I'm just making sure that I have all of the foam adhesive kind of at the same level. So I'll put a little foam dot on the left edge of that word lovely. And now everything's laying nice and flat. And at this point here, I've fussy cut out another little butterfly or another little element of butterfly. And I'll put that up at the top there, just kind of curving up the edges of the butterfly a little bit. And just really love how nice and soft and pretty this is. So now I've taken a tag from the Simple Stories collection. I'm going to just go ahead and open up that hole there with my hole punch. And I'm also going to add a little bit of ink to the edges. I think this is Distress Oxide pine needles that I'm using here, just a dark green to just kind of define the edge of that tag a little bit. And the tag I'm going to pop up on some foam adhesive as well. This is going to be the home for the journaling for the layout. So I'm going to put that over into that little beautiful garden of florals there. And that's where that's going to sit. And just really love how that looks over there to the side. I've got that popped up on some foam adhesive now. And now I'm going to just take a little piece of ribbon that's green that kind of matches the greens that's in the collection. I'll add a little bit of foam adhesive to the back of that ribbon and pop it into the hole of the tag. And now that area is all ready for the journaling. I'm going to add a little bit of, or some of the stickers from the sticker sheet. This one says love grows here. And I'll just pop that in at the top there of the photo. So love how that finishes that area as well. Now I want to add some splatters. So I've got, actually, this is the Spellbinders white splatter. And I have that just activated with a little bit of water on a piece of plastic over to the side. I'm just dipping my paintbrush into that paint and just liberally adding some nice white splatter to the whole area. I do have the photo covered up and any text that I don't want marred by the paint. And this is just going to add a really nice cohesive soft element to the entire project. So I'm just giving it a really good splatter. And now I'm taking my journaling strips, which I've typed on my vintage typewriter. I'm adding some foam adhesive onto the backs of those strips, and I will put those onto that tag to finish off my journaling there, which I love. I love how that looks. I've added a few of the heart foam stickers to the layout here and there. And now I'm adding this sticker, which says, "Here comes the sun." And I thought that was perfect. A little pun on the word sun. And I'm going to add that in there just below the main title, which says lovely. To finish everything off, I'm adding a few gold stickles to the center of the butterfly and to the centers of some of the flowers. And that's just going to add that little bit of extra sparkle and shine, which I really love. Friends, that is going to finish off the entire project. And I really love how this turned out. I think it's just really soft and lovely. I love Allison's sketches, and this hop is always really fun because you're going to get a ton of inspiration using the sketches from Allison's sketchbook. This one is 2-page sketch number 2. I chose option number 24, which is a single page layout. I hope you enjoyed this today, friends. I will see you again very soon. Take care. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye.